Welcome, everyone, to magazine news and gossip. But wait, have you ever wondered what secret celebrities might be hiding behind closed doors? What if the person you trusted most in the world suddenly shattered that trust with a single, unexpected revelation? Today, we dive into a shocking story that will leave you questioning everything you thought you knew about one of the most beloved stars. Buckle up, because this is a journey you won't forget. The story begins with Gulden Yaman, a woman who had always prided herself on her close-knit circle of friends, especially her deep connection with Can Yaman. Over the years, Gulden had come to rely on Can as more than just a friend. He was a confidant, someone who knew her inside and out. Their bond was the kind that many envied, a relationship built on trust, mutual respect, and a shared history full of memories, both happy and sad. But all of that was about to change in the blink of an eye. The news that Can had secretly married without telling her was like a bolt of lightning out of the clear blue sky. It wasn't just the fact that he had gotten married, but the secrecy of it all that cut Gulden to the core. How could someone she considered almost family, someone she had shared so much with, keep something so monumental from her? The questions flooded her mind faster than she could process them, each one bringing with it a new wave of confusion and heartache. Gulden could feel the weight of the betrayal pressing down on her chest, making it hard to breathe. The room seemed to spin as the reality of the situation began to sink in. The tears that had been threatening to spill finally broke free, each drop a testament to the deep pain she felt. It was a pain that came from the depths of her soul, a pain that only comes when someone you love betrays your trust. But the pain was just the beginning. As the days passed, Gulden found herself replaying every conversation, every interaction she had had with Can over the past few months. She began to wonder if there had been signs that she had missed, clues that might have hinted at what was to come. Had he been distant? Had he avoided certain topics? The more she thought about it, the more she realized that there had been moments that now seemed suspicious in hindsight. The sleepless nights began to take their toll on Gulden. She would lie in bed, staring at the ceiling, her mind racing with thoughts of what else Can might be hiding. The trust that had once been the foundation of their relationship was now in shambles, and she didn't know how to rebuild it. Every time her phone buzzed with a new message or notification, her heart would skip a beat, wondering if it was Can reaching out to explain himself. But each time, it was just another reminder of the silence that had grown between them. It wasn't just the secret marriage that hurt. It was the fact that Gulden had been left out of such an important part of Can's life. She had always believed that they shared everything with each other, that there were no secrets between them. But now, that belief had been shattered, and she didn't know how to put the pieces back together. As the days turned into weeks, Gulden found herself retreating from the world. She stopped answering calls, avoided social gatherings, and spent most of her time alone, lost in her thoughts. Her friends began to worry, but she couldn't bring herself to talk about what had happened. How could she explain the depth of her pain to someone who hadn't lived through it? How could she put into words the sense of betrayal that had rocked her to her core? But even in her isolation, Gulden knew that she couldn't go on like this forever. She had to find a way to move forward, to come to terms with what had happened and figure out how to rebuild her life. She realized that the only way to heal was to confront her feelings head-on, to face the pain rather than running from it. With a deep breath, Gulden decided to reach out to Can. She knew that the conversation wouldn't be easy, but it was necessary if she was ever going to find closure. The day of their meeting arrived, and Gulden could feel her heart pounding in her chest as she waited for Can to arrive. When he finally did, the sight of him brought a fresh wave of emotions crashing over her. But she steeled herself, determined to get the answers she needed. The conversation that followed was one of the hardest Gulden had ever had. She listened as Can explained his reasons for keeping the marriage a secret, each word cutting deeper than the last. He spoke of his fear of judgment, his desire to keep certain aspects of his life private, but none of his explanations could erase the pain she felt, the sense of betrayal that had taken root in her heart. As the conversation drew to a close, Gulden knew that things would never be the same between them. The trust that had once been so strong was now irrevocably damaged. But even in her pain, she felt a strange sense of relief. At least now she knew the truth. And with that truth, she could begin the process of healing. The days that followed were a whirlwind of emotions for Gulden. There were moments of anger, where she felt a deep rage at Can for what he had done. There were moments of sadness, where she mourned the loss of the relationship they had once shared. And there were moments of reflection, where she found herself questioning what this experience had taught her about herself and about the nature of trust. Gulden began to realize that this experience, as painful as it was, had also been a catalyst for growth. It had forced her to confront parts of herself that she had never really examined before. She began to see that trust, once broken, is incredibly hard to rebuild. But she also realized that trust is not just about the other person. It's also about trusting yourself to handle whatever life throws your way. As the weeks turned into months, Goldum slowly began to rebuild her life. She reconnected with friends, started new hobbies, and threw herself into work. She began to see that life goes on, even after betrayal. And while the pain was still there, it had become a part of her story, a chapter in the book of her life that had shaped who she was. In the end, Goldum came to a place of acceptance. She knew that she couldn't change what had happened, but she could choose how she responded to it. She decided to let go of the anger and resentment, to forgive Can, not because he deserved it, but because she deserved peace. She realized that forgiveness was not about condoning his actions, but about freeing herself from the chains of bitterness. Through this journey, Goldum discovered a new strength within herself. She learned that she was capable of surviving the worst kinds of betrayal, that she could pick up the pieces of her broken heart and rebuild something new. She found that even in the midst of pain, there is always room for growth, for new beginnings. The experience with Can taught Goldum many things, but perhaps the most important lesson was about the power of resilience. Life is full of unexpected twists and turns, and sometimes, those twists can leave us feeling lost and broken. But Goldum's story is a testament to the human spirit's ability to overcome even the deepest wounds. As she stood on the other side of her journey, Goldum realized that she was not the same person she had been before. She was stronger, wiser, and more compassionate. Not just towards others, but towards herself. She had learned that it's okay to feel pain, to cry, and to grieve. But she also learned that it's possible to rise above that pain, to find joy and love again, even after the darkest of days. So dear viewers, as we wrap up this emotional roller coaster of a story, let it serve as a reminder to cherish the relationships that matter most and to always strive for honesty and transparency in all our connections. Stay tuned for more captivating stories and updates, only on Magazine News and Gossip. Until next time, take care and keep the conversations going.